Good morning. Welcome back to my channel. This is Bookeemonsters. My name is PK, and we're going to look at the new releases that are set in the wild. We do that every morning of the week, and on Wednesdays we look at romance. I hope you had a good night. I hope you are reading good books, and I hope the new year is off to a good start. Let me switch over to this tab. All right. So, oops, let me get rid of that banner. Now, under the filter of romance, it looks like a lot of these look sort of fantasy, so we're going to leave those for tomorrow. But we shall see. Yep, that one's fantasy. And it's middle grade. Young adult. That looks, how about that one? Yeah, that's straight romance. Last Call at the Local by Sarah Grunder Ruiz. Opposites attract when a free-spirited American singer-songwriter with ADHD teams up with a charming Irishman to revitalize his family's pub in the next heartfelt romance from the author of Blah. Rain Hart is used to the challenges of living with ADHD. It's why she's ditched her life in Boston to busk around Europe as a traveling musician. No boss, no schedule, no one to disappoint but herself. But when a careless mistake in Ireland leaves her unable to perform, she sees no other option but to give up her nomadic life. Since inheriting the local, Jack Dunn has wanted to make the pub his own, but the baggage of running a family business and the intrusive thoughts that stem from his OCD make changing things a challenge. Got a full complement of situations going there, but they've got 3Ds. If you're playing poker, never mind. Over a pint with handsome tattooed Jack, Rain accidentally insults him and the pub. Instead of taking offense, Jack, impressed by her vision of what the pub could be, offers her a job bringing it to life. But when Rain and Jack develop feelings for one another, their opposite lifestyles won't accommodate. It becomes clear the pub isn't the only thing that needs reinventing. As the end of their business collaboration draws near, they'll have to find a way past the limits they've set on themselves or let go of a love that could last a lifetime. That to me is, it's not listed as a young adult, but is definitely a younger adult type of situation. That is also young adult. These are all either young adult or fantasy. Good morning, Mary. Happy Wednesday. Slow again this morning, but made it. That's okay. I appreciate you. You know that. A little bit soup. Exactly. All right. Trapped with a Navy SEAL by Skylar White. I never imagined my trip overseas would trap me with a grumpy Navy SEAL. Losing my sister made me realize that life is short. So I head for Japan with her 8-year-old son, Alex. A handsome older grump sits by us on the airplane. Alex's fidgeting appears to agitate the grump, but Alex's cute face finally wins him over. Why aren't these sentences just one after the other? Why is it like this? Turns out he's good company. We land in Japan and say our goodbyes, so we think. Alex and I are ready to begin our new life until we meet our new neighbor, Derek the Grump. I don't see much of him. Until the winds roar and the earth starts to shake. I panic thinking of Alex, who is at school. Trembling, I grasp for the door, and there he is, Derek, a Navy SEAL and protector. He ushers me to safety on his rooftop as a 30-foot tsunami heads towards us. Trapped together, we share our deepest fears. The isolation and darkness ignite an indescribable bond between us. We have to rescue Alex and find a way to safety, or our newfound love will never get a chance to blossom. Why does it sound like that was written by a high schooler or very early college? Perhaps I'm the grumpy one this morning. I'm not grumpy. Steel by Laura Scott, first in the Oath of Honor trilogy. Oath of Honor, a promise to protect and serve. Pregnant and in a killer's hot crosshairs. When Harper Crane is nearly abducted outside the law office where she works as an administrative assistant, she's grateful two police officers are there to rescue her. At 7 months pregnant, she has no idea why someone is coming after her, especially since her criminal ex husband is dead. She wants nothing more than to return to her boring life, but the attacks against her escalate, giving her little choice but to accept Steele's protection. Tactical police officer Steele Delaney believes someone within Harper's ex husband's criminal enterprise is responsible for attacking her. But when key evidence is found in Harper's apartment, he tries to understand why she's being framed. He only trusts his fellow officers and members of the Finnegan family. Staying under the radar isn't easy, but neither is protecting his heart. Can he keep Harper and her baby safe long enough to plan their future? What is it about pregnant romances? I'm sure at that point they're not feeling very romancy. I hope the book is written like that, but very good point. Very good point. In the future, absolutely. That's why we're book hoarders, because stuff like this is going to happen. Ugh. We must preserve the language. So it's not just me. Okay. Danielle still has another one. As far as I could tell, this was a new release. Upside Down. Oscar winning actress Ardith Law is a Hollywood icon. Radiant at 62, she is the epitome of glamour and highly respected artist. But her success has come at a price. She has a strained relationship with her daughter Morgan, who at 38 still blames Ardith for putting her career before being a mother. This doesn't sound like romance. This sounds more like family drama. Morgan is a successful plastic surgeon in New York City, and the distance from Ardith's Bel Air mansion is not lost on either of them. Ardith became a single mother when Morgan was 7 after her unfaithful husband died in a helicopter accident. In recent years, she has found amiable companionship with fellow actor Bill West, but Ardith's comfortable world is turned upside down when she hires a temporary personal assistant, Josh Gray, while Bill is away filming in London. Josh's rough around the edges persona is the opposite of what Ardith is used to, but an unexpected tragedy brings them closer, stirring up conflicting feelings in her for this younger man. Well, good for Danielle Steele. In New York, Morgan is swept off her feet by world-renowned TV anchorman Ben Ryan. Though more than 2 decades her senior, oops, I think we need to do a swap here. Ben is handsome, charismatic, just as smitten as Morgan, but when a blackmail scheme puts his career and the relationship on the line, Morgan doesn't know where to turn. Perhaps to her mother? As each woman navigates an unconventional romance, they cautiously approach each other on new terms and attempt to put aside their past for a new future. Commentary. Good for Danielle Steele for exploring topics in romance that aren't usual and are interesting. You know, the big age thing, opposite ways. Good for her. Huh. I'm still contemplating this. How old is Danielle Steele? She's been writing for a long, long time. She has been. Let's look. We might not reveal it. 9 children. Uh, she has erased the age, perhaps. She was first married in 1965, if that puts you in about age 20. Born, she's 76. Good for her. For some reason, I'm brought to mind Barbara Cartland, who wrote way into her later years, and good for them. Good for them. The Last Phone Booth in Manhattan by Beth Merlin and Danielle Modafieri. Modafieri. When a young woman hits rock bottom, she embarks on a positively Dickensian adventure in a witty and warm-hearted novel about past regrets, old loves, new beginnings, and making up for lost time. Hold on. Coffee. Avery Lawrence thought she had it all: a charming fiancé, a Broadway-themed, star-studded engagement, and a picture-perfect life. But when her fraudster of a fiancé true identity is exposed and he's hauled away in handcuffs, Avery's world comes crashing down faster than the chandelier at Phantom in the Opera. It came out on the 1st. Left stranded on Christmas Day outside the federal prison without her cell phone or wallet, Avery stumbles out of the cold and into the last phone booth in Manhattan. With nothing left to lose, Avery is directed by a mysterious voice on the line to the doorstep of the college boyfriend she thought she'd moved on from over 6 years ago. When a second encounter with the phone booth leads Avery to a life-changing audition for Marley is Dead, a new musical based on Dickens's A Christmas Carol, Avery is blown away by the striking similarities between the show and her own life. Convinced the phone booth is somehow responsible for reuniting her with the one that got away and reigniting her acting career, maybe she will finally have the chance to rewrite her future. But as she grapples with the ghosts of her past and the uncertainty of her present, Avery must decide whether to follow her heart or pursue her dream. Again, commentary. The difference between what is being published now and previously, and I will say it is perhaps a generational thing because there are younger, not only younger readers and younger writers, but also younger people in positions to get things published. The focus on this romance and several romances, but I've also mentioned it on fantasy, is the internal journey. It is a self absorption, if you're following my path here. It's not in fantasy the quest. And in this case, it's not even the relationship with the potential opposite. And I don't like it. Okay, end commentary. She can speak with authority about romance if she has 9 children. Absolutely. There you go. There are 4,397 ratings for a book that came out on the 1st of January. Pretty incredible. I'm wondering if these were like released early. I don't know. I mean, I checked these, but it did say January. I don't know. Mine to Keep by Natasha Madison, 8th in the Southern Weddings series. Grace, it wasn't hard for me to walk away from my family without looking back. The time had come for me to live for myself. New city, new job. My new boss, he's gorgeous. It's too bad the handsome face is wasted on such a condescending, you know what. He hates me and the feeling is mutual. The only reason he may not be the literal devil is because he's a devoted single dad, making it clear Kane is in fact capable of human emotion. Kane, I'm good at 2 things: raising my daughter to be strong and independent, and my job. When my new assistant walks into the office, I become good at ignoring her. She's sassy, smart, beautiful. Much younger and off limits for more reasons than I can count. That doesn't mean I want her any less. She hates me, but as each day goes by, it's harder and harder to remember why I hate her too. Speaking of authors who've been around a long, 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 long time, let's see what this is all about. Janet Daly. This has got to be a re-release. But it came out in December, at least. Okay, we can't look at it. Don't look at it! This is historical. That's a mystery. That's fantasy. Family life. That's a re-release. That's fantasy. Oh, they're re-releasing a bunch of Rebecca Yarros. She's the one who wrote Fourth Wing that everybody is talking about. Those other ones I had pre-checked out. These are ones I have not. So we're going to learn together. That was December. Why weren't they on last week when we were desperate for looking at things? Burn by Tamara Lush. Yep, this week. Third of the Pretenders. This definitely looks like a younger targeted market. Fired in a spectacular fashion from a job she loved, Lily Onassis has resigned herself to spending her days comfort baking in her condo. But when her father has a heart attack, her life takes an immediate U-turn. As he's wheeled into surgery, he has one request. He wants Lily to take over running his Formula World team, which includes managing their sexy star driver, Max Becker. Max and Lily have a history, and when she walked away from their affair years ago, she swore she'd never go back to racing or to Max. She wanted a quiet, drama-free life while he was the rising star of Formula World. Back in close proximity, the two must fight their burning attraction and keep their relationship strictly professional. Lily's got a job to do, and so does Max. No distractions. But as the season develops, so do their feelings, and the pair must confront the fact that they've been given a second chance. Maybe this time they shouldn't walk away. I did not know professional racing was a subgenre. That one's a fantasy, 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 fantasy. Checking the date. Oh, 2021. Okay, we're a little late. Last week. I appreciate these websites, but I wish they would be like accurate. Here's one. Fragile Designs by Colleen Cobble. There's only one thing more dangerous than family secrets. Since her police officer husband Eric's mysterious murder, Carly Harris has been struggling to support herself and their infant son. Her career as an antique dealer isn't sustainable, nor is her dream of becoming a novelist. So when her grandmother proposes, did we read this one on yesterday? Might have to help me out here. I know. Homicide detective Lucas Bennett isn't his neighbor's biggest fan, not since she broke his brother's heart years ago, but when Carly turns to Lucas for help, believing she's found a lost Fabergé egg. We did! I know we did. Rebecca Zanetti, that's a name in romance. Yeah. Frostbitten, Deep Ops Book 6 by Rebecca Zanetti. Enigmatic, with a wildly gifted mind and an untamed head of hair to match, petite powerhouse Millicent Frost is brilliant when it comes to gadgets and electronics, less so with people. After an attempt to bust a bank scam goes awry, Millie is in hot water with Homeland Security and targeted by lethal enemies. In the midst of the trouble, she heads home to help out with the family hunting and fishing business. But when their rival competitor and Millie's ex is murdered, she's the number one suspect. Irresistible. Former Marine turned lawyer Scott Terrenson devotes himself to getting his clients out of tricky binds. A loner, the last thing he needs is to belong to any team, yet the Deep Ops group considers him one of their own, and he pays the price by getting shot at by their enemies. Now Millie is seeking his help, just as he's dealing with a brutal fail regarding a recent trial. Both are a headache, yet he's drawn to Millie in spite of himself. They're opposites, but maybe the old adage is true. Electric. Working together, Millie and Scott soon have more on their hands than they bargained for as the danger escalates, along with the sizzling heat between them. And when a disappearance is thrown into the mix, all bets are off. Dot, 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 dot. Another Rebecca Yarrow, so I'm assuming that is a re-release because of her popularity. Happily Ever Alaska. Home Sweet Alaska Book 3 by Patience Griffin. Came out last week. In these situations, then, we are just looking at covers. I believe these are Harlequins. December. We're running out of time, so I guess we'll just look at covers. Historical. Did that one. Love Clancy. Fiction, family life. Love, just in. All right, we'll look at one more. Love on the plus side. Coming of age. Pomegranate. Protecting her heart. I just can't guarantee these were this week. Not that, if that will affect your being interested in reading it, certainly by all means. Kindle title is not available. Love, just in. We'll do one more real quick. Sydney TV news reporter Josie Larson is approaching 30 and coming dangerously close to failing at life. Lost in a vortex of other people's career milestones, engagement parties, and baby showers, Josie is perennially single, abandoned by her globe-trotting family, and invisible to her boss, except for the one time he tuned in while she was mid-panic attack on live TV. As punishment, Josie is shipped off to cover another reporter's 6-month leave at a regional bureau in Newcastle. But Josie has more waiting for her in Newcastle than yawn-inducing stories about bicycle lane protests. The city is also the domain of Zach Jameson, her best friend since high school. This should be a happy turn of events, but Zach has barely spoken to Josie for the past 2 years, not since a tragic event caused him to leave Sydney to try and cope with his grief. Now thrown back into each other's lives, Josie and Zach have to navigate their neglected friendship and secret attraction to each other while struggling with their careers and mental health. So that's kind of different, set in Australia. And speaking of Australia, there is a booktuber I follow. Is it Catherine Rachel? Rachel Catherine? She's in Australia, and she says the way to pronounce Jameson in Australia is Jamison. Just a bit of trivia. That is all we have time for. Another Wednesday down. That's right, you weren't. Gosh, this went fast this morning. Thank you. I hope to see you later at Rosanna's. Did Randy say she would be back in January 8th? I got the feeling that might happen. I have not heard anything definitive, and I am suspecting she might not also. I don't know how her grandmother is recovering. So we'll have to see. Hopefully Rosanna will keep on doing it in the meantime. Well, let's see. No sprints tonight. It is Wednesday. So you're on your own. Read by yourself. Watch a repeat, etc., etc. I have to crochet tonight. It's my Afghan is getting really bulky, so it's kind of hard to do it with the laptop here. Um, so I got to do that tonight for sure. In the meantime, I hope you have a very good Wednesday. Tomorrow night we will have sprints at 6:05 Mountain Time, 8:05 Eastern. Morning show tomorrow at 6 in the morning, my time, 8 Eastern, and we'll be looking at fantasy and science fiction. Looks like there's a bunch out there, which is kind of good if they're good. But as the banner says here, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Nom nom nom. Have a very good day and God bless.